Hi guys, welcome to my channel Sewing Stash. My name's Jodie and if you are new here, welcome. Today's video is going to be the Frugal Frock Challenge Make of 2021. If you haven't seen what the Frugal Frock Challenge is, you can check out my video that I did previously where I showed you the pattern choices and the fabric choices that I had. I didn't reveal them in that video because the big reveal was on the 31st of March. So obviously didn't want to give any spoilers away. So today's video is going to be actually showing you the pattern that I picked and the fabric choice that I picked in case you haven't seen Instagram or in case you don't have Instagram. So I thought I'd do a video on making the pattern, making the dress, not the pattern, making the dress and seeing how I got on with this free pattern. I don't think I've ever used a free pattern before, so I'm kind of excited. So the pattern that I picked was the Leila Dress, and it's a simple t-shirt dress with pockets and a waist high at the front, and the fabric choice that I chose for that was this grey jersey that's been sitting in my stash for a couple of years now. I brought it because I like the look of it and the feel of it, but I had no idea what to do with it. So as this challenge is to use a free pattern and free fabric, or fabric that's just been sitting in your stash for a really long time, I thought what better way to use it. So without further ado, I'm going to lay out my fabric on the table, and then I've already pre-cut the pattern as well, so I'm just going to crack straight on and start cutting out. You guys may have noticed is that for the front bodice I've actually cut it wider at the side seams and a little bit wider at the bottom. Now the reason for that is I am assuming that this pattern is drafted like most patterns at B cup, which means that you have 2-inch difference from the high bust, which is the smaller, and your apex, which is the largest part of your bust. Now, if that's the case, and I believe it is, what's going to happen is this is going to come up a lot shorter because it has a larger area to cover. So what I'm trying to do, rather than do a full bust adjustment, and because it's jersey, is I'm giving myself quite a bit extra room, more than I actually need. But I'd rather have too much than too little, so that it will comfortably fit around my bust without pulling the whole dress upwards. Now all the pattern pieces are cut out, what I'm actually going to do is work out the points that I need to stabilise. This fabric was an absolute dream to cut with a rotary cutter, but my gosh, don't the cut edges roll?
Those things roll, baby, they roll!
And that is going to be a massive pain in my butt. So I know that I'm going to need to stabilise the shoulder seams with clear elastic, potentially the pockets as well. One area that I am concerned about is this one. This is where the skirt wraps over, and then it needs to be top stitched down. That will be an absolute nightmare if the fabric is rolling everywhere and trying to make sure that I've got the right placement for things. So I'm going to have a look at my stash in terms of what I have. I think I've got some iron-on webbing that I can use to stop the rolling, and going to do a bit of research if there's any other areas that I need to potentially stabilise other than the shoulder seams and the pockets and the join at the front. And then because I'm losing light, what I'm going to do is pick this back up tomorrow. And I spent last night thinking about different methods to stabilise this fabric because it's so light and stretchy. And I chose to do clear elastic on the shoulder seams for both the front and the back bodice. and that's with a zigzag stitch. A tip for this is to make sure that you leave yourself some extra clear elastic to pull it through the machine, otherwise it will just bunch up. And then I've used a straight stitch all along the neckline for both the front and the back bodice as well to stabilize the neckline. So the instructions now want us to join the front and back bodice together and then work on the neckband. So I'm going to go and do that now. The neckband is now on. I was going to film me attaching this, but it was so finicky and fiddly that I got really frustrated, so I didn't. But it is now on. I've come a little bit short here, unfortunately, but I don't think it's that big a deal. It sits nice and flat, and I've top stitched it down. So the next part is to add the sleeves, I believe. Also, one of the things that I was saying about this pattern and how I added extra to the bottom and the sides, which I think is going to work out really well, because this is almost my bust. It's not quite my bust, but when you bring them together, they actually line up perfectly. So I hope that that has actually worked out quite well. So now we are going to go do the sleeves. The sleeves are now in. I do like this open method of you put the sleeves in before you sew up the side seams, because it goes in just so nicely without any issues or puckers or anything like that. And then what I did was I overlocked the inside as well to stop the edges from rolling. So the next part of this is to stitch up the side seams and then I believe do the cuffs, and then we start working on this skirt. So it's the next day, and I apologise for the lighting. It's very miserable and rainy outside, so if you can hear any rain against the window, I do apologise for that. Today we are going to be attaching the pocket facing to this skirt. I'm going to do a small stitch within the seam allowance to stop this from stretching out, because my fabric is really light and floaty. I'm also playing around with the idea of putting in some clear elastic here just to make it a little bit more structured, because my fabric has no structure to it. So we're going to go ahead and attach these to here like so, and then I believe we're attaching the other side of the pocket to this, and then it will be joining the skirt together, and it should be almost done. I've now attached the pockets to the front of the skirt because, like I keep saying, my fabric is so floaty. I did put some clear elastic in between. I did try and film this, except I forgot to press record. So you'll just have to take my word for it. There is some clear elastic that I attached to the pocket, and then I've understitched it as well. So that's going to sit like that. The next step is to put the back pocket onto this pocket bag, attaching just at the curve seams, and then I believe it's to work on the waist of the skirt after that. So we'll go ahead and attach the other pocket to these ones, and then we'll see what the instructions say. Now got the other side of the pocket attached to the front facing pocket, and I've finished the edges. The next step is to baste stitch the side of the pocket to the skirt and the top of the pocket to the skirt. So we're going to do that now. I'm just going to put in a few stitches across the top within the seam allowance, and I'm going to go again and do that down the side. So the next step is to attach the front facing to the front dress. I've interfaced my pieces with some light interfacing, so it's still nice and soft but a tiny bit more structured. Now the instructions tell me I need to overlock the inner edge of this piece, but it does not tell me which part is the inner edge, so I'm a little confused. If I look at the instructions here, page 11, I think if I copy that diagram, the inner edge is going to be the shorter curve, right? I think that's right. I hope that's right. I guess we'll find out. Let me know if you guys have made this and how you deciphered which was the inner edge. I'm going to guess it's the shorter curvature, and if I'm wrong, well, I've got enough fabric to cut it out again, so it's no big deal. So I worked out that the inner curve of the facing was the smaller curve, and the longer curve was the outside curve. So I've attached that to the skirt, and then I've I've understitched it down and pressed it like so. So now it's time to top stitch both these pieces, and then we put the skirt together to the back skirt, I believe, and then we can attach it to the bodice. So I'm really excited. I've done the top stitching, but I accidentally sewn this one too close to this one. So this line of top stitching shouldn't be here. It should just be this one and this one. However, my fabric is a nightmare to unpick threads from because you end up pulling on the threads of the actual material. So I just decided to add a third stitch. So I've got 3 lines of top stitching where you'll only have 2. I don't think it matters. I think it'll actually probably help with the stability of my fabric. So it is what it is. I should have paid more attention. I was just excited because I'm close to finishing now. So the next step is to attach the back skirt to the front skirt by the side seams. So we're going to do that. Then I think we have to join these bits together at some point and attach it to the bodice. So I'm going to go ahead and attach the back part of the skirt to these front pieces and see where we're at next. I've got the side seams of the skirt attached now. I ended up catching some of the material and I had to try and unpick it, and it was a nightmare and it took me forever, but hey ho, here we are. So now we have to overlap the left side onto the right side, matching it up at this notch here. We've got to tack this down and try it on. I'm going to put in the clear elastic. This is looking quite big, actually. It's quite roomy. So I might have to take the side seams.
As in the computer Sims, correct?
Seams in a little bit more. And then after that, once that's all adjusted and everything like that, we can attach it to the bodice. So I have the top tacked down. Now I'm trying to lay the fabric as flat as I can because I need to come in and top stitch this, the left side of the skirt to the right side of the skirt. And I'm really nervous
I know, I'm kind of nervous, but I'm mostly excited.
because it's fine with its flat being like this, but the moment I pick it up, I'm really scared it's going to go skew whiff. And knowing how hard this is to pick out stitches, whew, I'm procrastinating a little bit. So what I'm going to do is top stitch this down to that skirt. I am not going to film this because I need to really concentrate, and I could really do without a camera in my way. So you will see the after result. I've done plenty of sewing montages, so you don't really need to see another one. So that's what we're going to do now, and then we can attach the bodice. I thought I'd get this finished today, but I've hit the sewing wall. It shouldn't be taking me this long, but for whatever reason it is. So I am going to take a break, and then I'm probably not going to pick this up until tomorrow. But I've done the top stitching of the skirt, and what's left to do is the clear elastic, the attaching the bodice to the skirt, and then all it is hemming it, and it's done essentially. Oh, the waist tie as well. I've got the waist tie to do as well, which shouldn't really take me very long at all, but it is what it is. I've hit the wall, so I'm gonna pick this up again tomorrow.
The next day.
The top stitching is all done, and that sits lovely and flat, so I'm really happy with that. I am now just pinning the bodice to the skirt and inserting my clear elastic. I'm going to get this all stitched up, and then we can go do the reveal.
Reveal! Reveal!
The dress is done. Welcome to my bedroom. I did try and record downstairs in my kitchen, but I've got some weird light situations, so I've had to bring you up here. But here's the dress. So here she is in all her glory. I absolutely love this pattern. I hope you can see all that. Sorry, I'm having to like record this myself with my hand, so it's a bit awkward. But yes, this is the Leila dress, and I absolutely love it. Thank you so much to the Frugal Frock Challenge and to the Yorkshire Sew Girl and Frugalissima, that's the one. Sam, I apologise, I'm really rubbish at trying to pronounce your channel, but Sam at Frugalissima, I believe that's the one, and the Yorkshire Sew Girl organised this challenge, and I'm so glad they did. So again, thank you so much, and thank you for inviting me. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to get so much wear out of this dress. Like, I actually can't believe it. If it wasn't for this challenge, it would be sitting in a, well, unmade, still in my drawer, like, oh yeah, one day I'll make it, and then I never actually do. But yeah, I love it, absolutely love it. I did make some adjustments to mine, so let me show you. I lengthened this front part of the bodice here to account for the ladies, and I also added some stabilizer to the, can you see that? This is a bit awkward. A stabilizer to this part here, just because my fabric's a bit floaty, and I stabilise the shoulders, but obviously you'll see all that in the video. Thank you ever so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. I will try and spice this video a little bit, because I felt like it was getting a bit boring with me going, and now we're going to do this bit, and now we're going to do that bit. So hopefully you wasn't too bored. If you made it this far, congratulations. But thank you ever so much for watching the video. If you like, subscribe, thumbs up, all that jazz. And I'll see you next time. Bye.